Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Yahweh, Rakah, Ha-Rakah, Kadash. Double honors unto your apostles and elders of great millstone who rule well, and Shalom to the hopeful elect. This video is entitled Day of the Lord, and I'm just going to get right into it. This is Amos 5:18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord, all right? To what end is it for you, all right? Now you have men out there, mainly those of the Christian so-called faith, right, or religion, that believe in the day of the Lord is something to benefit them, right? But they're misunderstood. This precept's talking, this scripture's speaking directly to them, right? Because to what end is it for them? And through through this lesson, you're gonna understand who, the day of the Lord really only benefits, okay? To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Yeah, so the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. Okay? As if a man did flee from a lion. And this is really dealing with Esau, Edom. The so-called white man, the red Hebrew Israelite. Right, it's dealing with him. Okay? Because basically he is the one that is that is day of the Lord is going to be darkness for. But guess what? Though hand join in hand with the wicked shall not go unpunished, all right? So basically, anyone that's joined onto him is basically going to suffer the same consequences of him, okay? So that's why the day of the Lord is going to be greatly be darkness and have no light in it, because many are held alongside or holding hands with him. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. Okay, so that's total no escape. And even also doubles up with when Esau, Edom dealing with America, Babylon the Great, as the Bible tells you, all right, spiritually Sodom and Egypt. That basically the lion, the bear, and the serpent all symbolize, the UK, Russia, and the serpent being China, all of which represent animal representations in those countries, right? And they're gonna basically, in America seeking to escape from its destruction, is gonna find no escape, right? Because those nations are gonna come against her, right? Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it, all right? So the day of the Lord is gonna be a great day of tribulation, okay? So in that day of the Lord, obviously if it's going to be darkness, as it tells you in the book of Isaiah, gross darkness shall cover the earth. If it's going to be darkness for the total masses, then it's needed that we need light in that time, okay? So now this is Matthew 25:1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. Who's the bridegroom? Yahweh Shai is the bridegroom, okay? Reading on. And 5 of them were wise and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. So basically, if dealing with the old technology that you had, during these times, you had lamps that you had to trim. You put oil in and you had to trim the wick, right? Being, I believe, a cotton that basically hung out, that was dipped into the vessel that held the oil, and basically would, so the oil would ascend up through it, and you'd light the tip of the wick, basically, or the lamp, and it'll give forth light, right? And that's how it'd be a lamp. So if you don't have no oil, the light you ain't gonna have no light, basically, all right? But on a spiritual playing field, what it really is dealing with is it tells you in Proverbs 21:20, all right? Basically wisdom, all right? The oil is wisdom, okay? Which will allow you to see in the darkness, all right? As it tells you in Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. That's going to stabilize you in the times that are coming ahead. The days of darkness, basically. All right? So reading on. It says, excuse me. Damn, man. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. All right? That's that falling away. All right? As Paul spoke of. Because Yahushua came and what did they do? They, they had their lamps, but there was a falling away, slept, and woke up to this truth, basically. Okay? Excuse me. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. All right? So at midnight, that's at the peak of night. All right? So what do you need? You need light, basically, to go out into the darkness. All right? Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said unto the wise, give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. All right? But the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. So in the process of having to go and find that oil to basically light their lamps, it's basically talking about going to find the word. All right? Okay? So it said there was at midnight, there was a cry made, right? And that cry is us crying onto the, out there on the highways and byways, basically, all right? Because this is Esau's present kingdom, and it's basically, it's midnight presently in Esau's kingdom. That means it's at its pinnacle, all right? And it's on its decline, all right? And that can only mean that it's heading into what? The morning, right? The twilight, the dawn, and then the morning shall come. And that's basically when the Lord is said to come, all right? And he's been and Esau's been on a steady decline ever since he went up and made his nest among the stars. It tells you in Obadiah, the 1st chapter. So once he did that, what happened? The Lord basically started to bring down Esau from his glory, and he's been on a steady decline ever since. All right, and really, what the way he knows this as well is because why? You got the prophets of Yahweh Shem El Shai on highways and byways speaking this word, and basically making it known what the Lord is saying. Even this video right here is basically making it known that Esau, you're on the way out, man. You ain't got too much time left. Okay. So, the countdown began, and I want to read this precept to back up that point. Because Esau's rulership, the moment Esau's day is our night, and our day is his night, basically. Alright? So this is Amos 5:8, and it reads, seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion. And what were the virgins doing? What were they doing? They trimmed their lights to do what? To go out and meet the Lord. Alright? So they needed light to do that. Alright? And turneth the shadow of death into the morning. All right. Now, what's also known as the shadow of death, as King David spoke of in the book of Psalms, and he also Ezekiel spoke of as well. The valley of death. All right. The low place where death dwells, the land of America, which is also known as Babylon the Great. All right. That's the shadow of death. So this is Amos saying, and turneth the shadow of death into the morning. All right. So the shadow of death, shadow meaning darkness. All right. Of death, that darkness of death into the morning. So we're the Most High is the one that brings a light upon the shadow of death to basically make it no more the shadow of death. Right. And maketh the day dark with night. All right. And that's what Esau had with his rulership. Our day went down with night. But then guess what? Esau's kingdom is presently being darkened. His day is being darkened into night. so our day can come forth. And the calleth the waters of the sea and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. Yahweh is his name. Yahweh ruleth in the kingdom of men. And guess what? He setteth up one and putteth down another. And that's what's being done presently at this point in time. All right. This is why these words of this prophecy being written and presently being read, man. So let's go back. I'm gonna go back to verse 7. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps, and the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go you rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. So basically what it's saying in a spiritual sense is basically going to them that sell and buying for ourselves, going to the apostles and elders and their elders that taught us this word, man, dealing with the apostles of Great Millstone. Okay, so you go to them and you study, eat the whole roll, and basically endure and maintain. You know, that's basically what it is. But in that time, in that moment, they've had to be sent. They're gonna have to go and try and get all this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But you ain't got enough time for that, man. Because as we read on, it tell you why. So it says, and the foolish said unto the wise, Give us of verse 10, and while they went to buy, so while they were trying to get this in their mind, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and he said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh. Alright? So you gotta watch, because you don't know the day or the hour where the Lord is gonna basically make his appearance upon the earth. That's why we're out there on the highways and byways, in season and out of season, because we gotta do this from until it's over. Alright? He that endureth unto the end, the same shall be saved. Alright? And also in the book of Romans, the 13th chapter, speaks about high time to wake up, because our salvation is nearer than we believe. All right, and so basically about moving away from this world of darkness and putting on the armor of light. In doing so, how do you put on the armor of light? You're basically putting Yahweh Shai upon you, which leads me into my last scripture. Actually, let me read this precept real quick before I jump there. So this is Lamentations 2:19, and it reads, Arise, cry out in the night. Alright? And that's what we're doing, crying out in the night. In the beginning of watches, pour out thine heart. Right? And we've been starting with the apostles and elders. They've been calling out from the beginning of the watches, and they're going to call out until the end of the watches. Pour out their heart like water before the face of the Lord. Lift up thy hands towards him, for the life of thy young children that faint for hunger in the top of every street. So we're meant to go out on the highways and byways and want to teach, so we could bring in the elect into this word. Those that, as it tells you in the book of Ezekiel, the 9th chapter, go about the midst of the city and put a mark upon them that sigh and cry for the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Alright? So now this is Hosea 6:1. And it reads, Come, let us return unto the Lord, for he hath torn, and he will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up. That's right, the Lord is the one that tore us, alright? As it tells you in the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the 15th verse, if we don't take heed unto the words of the Lord, what would happen? All the curses will pursue us, basically. And dealing with darkness and being blinded, it tells you in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and the 28th and 29th verse, about groping at noonday, alright? Because the Most High smote us with blindness. And that's basically the lack of wisdom. But the only ones that can be binded up, as it's saying, Hosea is saying in the 6th chapter, is those of the elect, as it tells you in Amos 9 and 11, that the Lord would rebuild the house of, bring back the house of David as in the days of old, and close the breaches thereof, right? That's binding it back up and bringing it once back to its old splendor, basically. But those that I ain't gonna get it, man, and still be under the curses, is 2/3, the wicked Israelites of our nation, due to the fact that it tells you in the book of Romans 11, man, make their table, as Paul was quoting Peter. I'm sorry, Paul was quoting King David, that those wicked Israelites their table should be made a snare, basically, so that instead they sit at the table, they'll bang their shin into it, fall over and fall back way, and not basically receive the word. Okay. So verse 2, after 2 days will he revive us. Yeah, as we mentioned before, Paul spoke about a falling away first. 2 days is 2,000 years. After those that were in the truth, that were of the elect, going back 2,000 years ago, when Yahushua came on the scene and Paul came on the scene, and all the apostles that taught the many men that came into the faith, those that they endured in that time unto the end. And this time they're back again, and they've been revived, they've been reincarnated and been given the same lot. As Daniel was told before as well, Daniel standing in that lot, right? And tells you also in 1 Corinthians 14, I believe, about the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophets. So you always come back in that lot. The elect are going to come back to the elect, the wicked are going to come back as the wicked. So basically, the 2 days, 2,000 years, as it tells you in Peter's, all right, will he revive us? In the 3rd day, he will raise us up, all right? So in the 3rd day, in the onset of the 3rd day, he'll raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. How are we going to live? It tells you in the book of Ezekiel about the valley of dry bones, and then the spirit being the word coming into the bones that had the sinews and the flesh over it, were basically made to stand up and live, basically, all right? So that's what it's talking about. And shall live in his sight, all right? Then shall we know, if we follow on to know the Lord, his going forth is prepared as the morning, all right? So he's going forth is prepared as the morning, a light, all right? Being Yahushua, which is going to, shine upon who? Upon the nation of Israel, okay? As it tells you in the book of Peter's, 1 Peter's, about the day star, right? That's the Lord shining upon us and basically giving us glory. Basically he will rise upon us and show his glory through us, basically. So with that, man, I pray you're edified.